8 o'clock, here we are. Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope it's somewhat warmer where you are than it is where I am, but it looks like next week looks pretty good, so we can all keep our fingers crossed for that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, and we can get started. Thanks again, everybody, for being here. My name is Josh Planos. I'm the Director of Public Relations and Communications here at the Better Business Bureau. Just a quick reminder to please mute yourself if you're not speaking. We want to avoid things like background noise if at all possible, since we are recording and uploading this workshop to YouTube for those who couldn't make it today, or those who want to go back and re-listen to certain portions. But again, thank you all for being here, for taking time out of your day to spend some time learning about our awards. These awards have been instrumental in spotlighting ethical businesses and some of the best employees in the service areas that we cover. To start, I actually asked the chair of our Torch Awards committee, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, if he could message me why he thought these awards are so important to our communities. And he said, quote, "These awards exemplify not only what you hope to be, but who you are. Ethics, honesty, and integrity are hallmarks of that all businesses should pursue. And by being here for this session, you are doing just that. So please apply." So in that spirit, we'll go through this presentation. I'll stop for questions. I'll stop for questions about halfway through, and then we can kind of continue on from there. Sorry, I'm just getting people into the room. Here we go. Okay, so we've given out hundreds of integrity awards, but this year will actually be our first ever Torch Awards. They had been previously referred to as integrity awards, but that transition is primarily a branding one, and it's in compliance with the International Association of Better Business Bureaus, which effectively is our governing body. The transition doesn't really impact the categories or the judging, so what you know about the integrity awards will still apply to the Torch Awards. And what's cool about this year is that there's an international element to it. There's an international Torch Awards, so if you happen to win a local one, you're automatically entered for international recognition and additional exposure with you going up against companies in Canada and Mexico. So that's an exciting opportunity. These awards honor organizations whose leaders demonstrate commendable personal character and ensure the organization's practices meet the highest standard of ethics. A trusting relationship with customers and community is essential. And for more than a century, the BBB's collective mission has been to advance marketplace trust. So these awards are really meant to embody that spirit. All eligibility information can be found on our website. If you just search for the Better Business Bureau online, its location tracking should bring you to our landing page, which is the BBB serving Nebraska, South Dakota, Kansas Plains, and Southwest Iowa. I'll put the link to the landing page in the chat for you to access as well. And afterward, after we're done here, I'll send a link to the entire presentation that you're seeing today, plus links to our website, links to the information you would need to complete the applications. You have it all available to you, as well as the slide deck. I'll make the slide deck available too. So the Torch Awards is the first icon listed under programs and services on our landing page. We have information on eligibility, award criteria, the judging process, the benefits for award winners, and much, much more there. This is the first year as well that we have a digitized application. So we're really excited about that. When you're ready to apply, you will do so with the links found on our landing page. You will not need to mail or provide anything physical for your application. It's all completed online. So the deadline is April 29th, and that gives you a few months to submit all application materials. Applicants will be informed of the judging results by August 1st, and winners will be honored in their service area. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to have applicants compete with much larger companies or to have companies compete with charities or for companies in South Dakota to compete with companies in Nebraska. So our categories are as follows. Businesses with 1 to 4 employees, 5 to 10, 11 to 24, 25 to 99, 100 to 349, 500 and above, 350 to 499, and then charities with 1 to 24 employees and 25 or more. Omaha and Southwest Iowa will be judged separately from South Dakota, who will be judged separately from the Kansas Plains. So you don't need to worry about competing with companies in other states. Our eligibility requirements can be found online, and they're also listed here, of course. So I'll highlight some of the more important ones, including that your business doesn't need to be accredited to apply, but it does need to be physically located in our service area and have been in business a minimum of 3 years with the same ownership. Again, all this information can be found online. So we'll actually skip this portion because I'll basically be covering it with the presentation. What's great about the application too is there's a save button in the bottom right corner. And it's certainly encouraged to not complete the entire application in one sitting. That's a lot to chew on, and it's probably best to do it incrementally. So that save button will be your friend. When you click it, you'll receive a prompt to input your email or to copy the URL so you can pick up right where you left off. That will be your friend throughout the process, so you don't have to go back and redo anything. It's all saved. So our criteria for these awards follow what we call the 4 C's: character, culture, customers, and community. So the first one is character. Again, you'll be competing with companies in your area and against companies of the same size. The most important thing on the application, right, is to answer the question that is given. What's the listed criteria? How do you fulfill it? It's best not to freelance too much here and to really just kind of abide by the rubric, because that's what the judges have in front of them, right? When they're judging these things, they're looking to see how you actually answer the question given. Another big suggestion before I dive into criteria actually is to have somebody else, either someone within your business or a spouse or a friend, someone else to just read your answers before you submit them. We can all benefit from a second set of eyes, right? Especially on something like this. So that would be encouraged. And certainly, if you're a bigger business, you can ask those within certain areas of the company for support or input. You can meet as a group to discuss it, et cetera. So, okay, the first criteria is character. You can see what that asks for. It's looking for character of the leader and what the person's ethics are. How you empower your staff to carry out your organization's commitment to building and maintaining ethical business practices. So if your organization or president or leader or owner has a code of ethics, this is a really good place to put it. Indicate that it's your code. It's what you do to enhance ethics at the company and show how you carry it out. It can be a personal statement from the leader's commitment to ethical business practices. You can have a description or evidence of the leader's participation in workshops, conferences, or training in ethics. You can talk about how the leader is transparent, values candor from his employees, his or her employees, from its customers, how you receive personal feedback from your stakeholders, and please give examples, right? Judges love examples. Specific ones are even better. There's no limit to what you can write. In the past, we had page limits. There were endpoints, but this version is much more subjective. So think about, if you were the judge, what would you want to hear about
your son feeling better too?
And then for those who have joined kind of midway through, I just wanted to let you know that we have that this is being recorded. So we're going to send you this, and you're going to be able to access all the information we discussed up to this point. So just so you're aware. Okay, so basically, again, this is the overall ethics of your organization. Okay, criteria 2 is the culture. Your ethical culture is supposed to illustrate how your organization works toward a collective culture of trust through clarity of purpose, empowering employees and opportunities for growth. This also gives you a lot of leeway. This is where you can say how you treat your employees because it's focused on them. How do you motivate them? What kind of perks do you give them? What kind of rewards do they get? What are the benefits to working there? How do you go above and beyond in serving your employees? Because as we all know, when employees are happy, they will serve you better and they'll be better able to interact with your customers. Again, these are very broad bullet points. And you should show your work, right? Back up what you're saying, again, with examples. It can be anything from how you've handled COVID to how you've returned to the office. If you've returned to the office, what you've done to keep your employees safe and protected. It doesn't have to be COVID related. I'm just throwing out that option. There are all kinds of ways you can go about answering these questions. And then obviously a small company's answers are going to be very different from a big company. And judges are aware of that. They're grading on a scale. You're graded against your peers, against like-sized businesses and charities. So, don't need to be, worried about that. Just answer the questions to the best of your ability. And then here are some, suggestions. Again, you'll have access to the slide decks. You can kind of go through and take and apply what you so choose. Okay, so the third criteria is customers. This is where you'll tell us how you treat your customers. What are you doing to keep them? And what do you do to get new ones? How do you advertise? How do you empower your employees to proactively address issues experienced by customers? Customers have issues. We all know this. This is a really good place to put in some examples of a difficult customer and maybe how you handled it. And let us know your results. Did you keep that customer? Did they become a loyal one? Did anything about that relationship change when you went above and beyond to service them? It's also an opportunity to show us how you go above and beyond to maintain transparency with your customers. Make note of that last bullet point. Tell us about an instance where your commitment to honesty was a positive differentiator in a challenging customer interaction. In a previous year, we had a concrete company apply, and they told us that no matter what the company did, they couldn't satisfy this customer. So at their own expense, with their own people, they completely redid a project at no charge to the customer. They told us that keeping the customer happy was more important than the time lost. Those are the kinds of things judges are looking for. How you go above and beyond in serving your customers and how you treat them and how you train your employees to treat your customers. So some suggestions include describe how your organization demonstrated ethical decision-making with a difficult customer or client or donor. You can describe how you get feedback from customers, clients, donors to assess your organization's performance. Do you guys have a survey? Is it annual? How is it used to tailor your decision-making or your strategy moving forward? And you can also include a copy of that. On the application, there's going to be an area where you can upload files. This is a really great place to do so. Again, showing your work is going to give judges that much more reason to pick you over a potential competitor. Certainly, you can talk about social media. A lot of us are online these days. How you respond to customers on those platforms. You can talk about the BBB and how they respond to you. Provide examples of advertising and marketing materials that show your organization's commitment to ethical business practices, because that helps you get the customer right. So you can provide a description of methods used to ensure all sales promotions, materials, and advertisements are truthful and accurate. And you can provide examples of good customer service provided by your organization. And one thing that I think a lot of people forget is that if you're in a BBB accredited business, which you don't need to be to apply, but if you are, you should have that logo on your website, because that in and of itself informs customers that you're a reliable business because you've been vetted and you're an accredited business for a reason. So that shouldn't be underestimated, because again, thousands of people go to bbb.org to start projects, and they're looking for that seal of approval. So if you're an AB, you can include a screenshot of your website with the logo. And certainly if you don't have one and you are an accredited business, just let me know and we can get you in touch with the person who can provide that information to you. Okay, so the last criteria is community. Here's where you'll display your organization's programs, contributions, and activities that return value to and support for your community. This is extremely important to the judges because it's not only about what you do for yourself, for your employees, but what you do for your community to help make it a better place to live, to work, and to do business. Describe those programs or events that your business has in place. Show off how well-rounded you are as an organization. For a small company, if you only have 1 to 2 employees, maybe you just volunteer here and there. Maybe you coach Little League. Maybe you have a food bank donation drive. Anything that's community oriented, we want to know about it. Some of you do pro bono work. Some of you offer services to those who can't afford the market rate. Maybe you collaborate with other companies or organizations. That's more for charities and larger businesses. Like the BBB, for instance, partners with AARP and other BBBs around the country. But certainly if you collaborate, talk about those partnerships. Maybe you work with the police or local media on stories meant to generate awareness in the community, things like that. You could talk about how your company values diversity and inclusion, how it cultivates it for the community overall. You can list your company's memberships and industry groups. And these are, all suggestions. You're by no means obligated to use them. And certainly you don't need to use all of them unless you have really good applications for each. They're just some ideas to help you out during the process. I'm a writer by trade, so I always start from an outline. I find that it cuts down on time wasted. It gives me a good roadmap with which to work. The same can be said for an application like this. Develop a strategy for what message you want to convey to the judges and how it is that your examples are going to get you there. And again, get input, have somebody else read your answers before you submit them. Make sure you're addressing the criteria first and foremost. And, you're not just talking about how great your company is. Make sure you're talking about exactly what they're looking for, because the judges are staring at your application and they're staring at the judging rubric. So they know what to look for. And they know if you're satisfying the criteria or not. So here's my my contact information, as well as my predecessor, Margot Rikas's. She has been involved with these awards for 24 years now. So she's a great wealth of information, but certainly, I'd be willing to answer any and all questions if you have them. And at this time, I'll stop sharing my screen. Or actually, what I'll do? I'm gonna show you the application first, and then we can kind of dive into questions if you have them. Okay. So here is our landing page. As you can see, if you just scroll down a ways, here's Torch Awards. This is the landing page for the Torch Awards, right? It'll have information on eligibility, on the benefits for award winners. You can see who has previously won. And then if you go right to the top, be able to see the application form. And in the bottom right corner will be your save button. So that is the application. I know I bolted through that, but if any of you have any questions at this time, I'll do my best to answer them. If I can't, certainly I'll get your contact information, or I should have it already because of the Zoom meeting, but I'd love to help you out. We want you to be successful in this process, right? We're not trying to hide any information, and certainly we're a good resource to access ahead of time if you're so looking for questions to be answered. So certainly let me know if you have any questions, but thank you again for being here and for your interest in these awards. I think what makes these awards really special is that it's not about popularity, it's not about profitability. It's about how integrity driven and community minded you are as a company. And I think that's a really great way to celebrate businesses and it's a really good sign that you're all here today.